You are watching lesson number 9, using the Doodly Preview feature. Keep in mind, you'll learn best if you are in a relaxed state of mind. So take your time and hit the rewind button as often as needed. Now, in our previous lesson, we thoroughly discussed the save feature. Now we are going to take a closer look at how to preview your work. There are 3 different Doodly Preview features within this app. Previewing your videos is critical to achieving a high level of success when it comes to viewers watching your videos all the way to the end. If your timing is off, it will negatively impact the quality of your work. If your characters, your props, and your text are not being displayed in the proper order, it will negatively impact the quality of your work. And if you have one or more scenes that do not relate to each other, again, it will negatively impact the quality of your work. So what am I saying? Every single item that you place on the canvas, no matter how big or how small, must be previewed in order for you to be confident that the videos you publish for the public to see meets a high quality level. Listen folks, creating doodly videos is not complicated, but you are only going to get out of your videos what you put into them. If you produce poorly made videos, your viewership will be low. However, if you produce videos that add value to the viewer, then he or she will hang around and watch your stuff. The only way for you to know the quality of your video is to preview it before you publish it. Okay, like I said, there are 3 ways that you can preview your work, and each one has its own pros and cons. Let's start with this one right here. I'm gonna jump right in and I'm gonna click this preview button so that you can preview this video in its current state. If you can recall from a previous lesson, I simply dragged and dropped this scene onto the canvas without making any changes, and that's how this scene was created. However, when I previewed it, it felt pretty slow to me. I mean, it took too much time for this scene to draw out. Right now, it's taking almost 31 seconds just for this one scene to finish drawing. Now, if you have a scene with a lot of complex elements being drawn out, I can kind of see that. But there really aren't a lot of elements in this scene, and in the video world, 31 seconds can be considered a long time. Therefore, I would like to speed it up a bit. And in order to do that, I need to make a change to this section right here called layers. Now, I'm gonna go into great details about how to properly get the most out of this section in a later video. So for right now, we're not gonna discuss this section. However, I am gonna tweak the time that it takes to complete the drawing of the car. Hi everybody, Kellyanne here. Now you can watch each of these videos at videocaboose.com, where they are neatly organized for you into one continuous tutorial, and that makes it super easy for you to pick up where you left off. If you still need to purchase the Doodly software, I placed the link down in the description box. Click on it. All of my videos are free to share on social media channels by clicking the share button. And oh yeah, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Alright, let's get back to work. See right here, this car is taking 17 seconds to complete. That's more than half the amount of time that it takes to complete the entire scene. So I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna change it to 7 seconds. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you a split screen of this scene being rendered. On the left is the scene that's being drawn in 17 seconds, and on the right, it's being drawn in 7 seconds. Now this scene has 6 elements in it. There's the sun, the man, the car, the tools, the woman, and the text. Notice that the scene on the left, which has the car being rendered in 17 seconds, only completed a small portion of the man, and it didn't even get a chance to draw out the sun or the text. Believe it or not, that's a really big deal when it comes to timing, because if you are trying to create, let's say, a 2-minute promotional video for yourself or someone else, you can't afford to spend 31 seconds on just one scene. I'm gonna teach you about timing in a later video, so I need you to stay tuned for that. But for now, let's just get out of here. Now that we have the timing adjusted on the car, there's something else that I would like to show you before moving on. Let's preview this scene along with the second scene. Again, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna click the preview button. You may remember me adding this second scene to the canvas in a previous lesson. Now, I'm not going to discuss this second scene at this time. I just wanted to show you how the preview looks when you are reviewing more than one scene. Using this preview method allows me to see the entire video play out, and that allows me to see how well all of my scenes are interacting with each other. Now, before we move on to a second way that you can preview your work, I have a confession to make. I almost never use this method for previewing my work. I just find that this particular preview screen, it tends to render scenes at a much slower pace than what the actual finished video does. I'm very particular about timing, and it's hard for me to see how close the actual timing is when previewing scenes using this method. That's my one con for this method of previewing my work. However, the pros are it's a good way to preview the order in which the elements on the canvas will appear in your final video, as well as take stock of how well one scene relates to the next scene. Okay, moving on. The second Doodly Preview method has to do with this section down here. I'll just come down here and I'll right click on this scene. I'm going to scroll and I'm going to click the preview button. Notice that this video has two scenes created, but only the one that I right-clicked on was the one that was seen in the preview. You can tell that there are additional scenes because the preview shows that the scene is making a transition to the next scene, but it stops short of drawing it out. And that's the special feature of this particular preview method. Let me get out of this screen so that I can show you. See, screen 1 and screen 2. And as you can see, the player has stopped just short of moving on to the next scene. Now, I also want to show you this. If you look at this player head, the marker is 21.2 seconds. We're going to use that information in the next preview screen. But for now, let me tell you what the pros are. The pros are it allows you to focus on one particular scene at a time, and it also cuts down the time that it takes to do individual or small edits. Now, remember in lesson number 7, I think it was, when I showed you guys a featured video that was on my homepage, and that particular video had 38 scenes to it? It would be horrible if I wanted to preview, say, scene number 25. But I had to watch scenes 1 through 24 first. So being able to preview one scene at a time is a really big deal. And that is what this preview method will allow you to do. And yes, I use this Doodly Preview method a lot, but not as much as I use the third and final method. If you come up here, you will see the words Show Preview. Believe it or not, there is a really cool feature behind these words, so let's just click on them. Now, this is by far my favorite method for previewing my work. On the left, you have the playback screen, and on the right, you have the last scene that you were working on. Now, the playback screen is directly related to where the playhead is located down here. Let me show you. If I come down here, you can see that the player head is located in the exact spot where the preview stopped, at 21.2 seconds. Now, if I click here, see how the playback screen changes to reflect where the scene is at that particular point in time? See, right here it says 16 seconds out of 27 seconds, and if I come down here, it also says 16 seconds. This preview method is vital to creating the ideal timing of characters, props, and text elements. It's the absolute best way to shorten or lengthen the time that it takes for these assets to be drawn on the canvas. Now I'm going to click this preview button so that you can see what this method looks like. First, however, I want to move the playhead to the very beginning so that the entire video is available for playback. There are 3 ways that you can do that. I can come down here and I can slide the player head as far to the left as I can get it. Another way to move the player head is by simply clicking along the speed bar. And finally, I can come up here to the playback screen and I can click along its speed bar. Wherever I click, the player head will relocate to that spot. Let me show you. Okay, I'm gonna click the play button so that you can see the preview. I'll click here to start at the beginning of this video. Now, sometimes it can be a challenge to get the player head to the absolute beginning, but that's not a problem. Just get it as close to the beginning as you possibly can. See how much faster the playback speed is? It's closer to the actual speed of a finished video, and therefore it allows me to be very close when it comes to the timing of how fast or slow items are drawn, as well as how much delay I may need to have before the next element begins to draw out. Now, there is so much more to this screen than I am explaining to you right now, but I have an entire lesson that talks about nothing but all the wonderful features here. Therefore, I need you to stay tuned because truly the best is yet to come. So let's recap. There are 3 Doodly Preview methods that you can use to fine-tune your work. You can come up here and you can click on this preview button in order to preview your entire video. Or you can come down here and you can right-click on a scene in order to preview any one particular scene. Or you can come up here and click on this show preview button, and when you do, you'll be able to preview your entire video, or you can preview one or more scenes. You can also perfect the timing of each element that you add to the canvas. Now, there is no doubt that as you create videos, you will discover which one of these methods is your favorite. Remember, previewing your work allows you to tell whether or not you want to change the flow of each scene, tell if you'd like to change the speed for the time that it takes for an asset to be drawn out, to see if you like how each character or prop is positioned, to see how the text appears in each scene, or to see how the timing of your scenes line up with your voiceover or music, and so much more. So keep in mind that all of these changes will directly impact the dynamics of your video. So by all means, experiment with each preview method often when you are creating your own videos, because without the preview feature, you will not be able to get an accurate sense of how your finished video can look. Well guys, that's enough for now. As you can see, using the Doodly Preview feature is vital to your ability to create the overall look and feel of your finished product. In our next lesson, we will explore how to export your video when you are finished making all of your edits. We'll dive deep into what each of these elements mean and how these settings will directly impact how your finished video appears to the public. So, when you are ready to power forward, head on over to lesson number 10, and I'll see you there.